you. Today is all about you. And so we're going to talk about that. I'm excited about this subject. Seems like I'm excited every day because I am. But so we're going to talk about this today. Loving yourself. There's nothing like self-care, because oftentimes we lose who we are trying to be everything to everyone else, but you have to fit yourself in the calendar. Okay. I want somebody to type in, I must fit myself in the calendar. I must fit myself in the calendar. Okay, so today is about you, self-care, loving yourself, being intentional about it, not feeling guilty because of it, because you'll be amazed at the people that actually feel guilty just because they take out time for themselves. I remember I had an acquaintance of mine who he had purchased some shoes for himself, and he made the statement. He said, I never really bought myself anything because I'm always giving to other people. And I was just like, well, you could give to other people and still be a blessing to yourself, you know. So so it's being able to love on yourself, not based on what you. It's not based on, okay, because I bought myself a new pair of shoes to show that I love myself. No, it starts from the inside out. It starts from the inside out, not based on anything external. It starts internally. And because of how we feel internally, then we can do things without guilt externally. All right. So again, I want to welcome everyone. Today is day 30. We have 35 more days to go on this 65 days of fire journey. I appreciate everyone for joining me. My name is Yakinea Marie of She CEO Global and She CEO Network. We support women of faith in building themselves and building their visions and their businesses. And to connect with us, our network, She CEO Network, you can go to yakineamarie.com and just access everything that we have going on. Or you can click the link in the description below that'll take you directly to the page. So, and if you desire to write and publish your book, you can also access that as well. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, and if you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe, click the notification button so you can be notified when we go live, and share the broadcast. And if I say at least one thing that blesses your spirit, I want you to click the like button. All right, let's get started. Love yourself. I will just make that declaration. I love me some me. I love me some me. I love myself. Okay. I'm not talking about, this is not my message today, because we know that I have my husband in my screen, but we know that there are some people, they're just vain. Okay, they absolutely care about no one. It's all about them. They're walking in the spirit of pride. Okay, but when you can love people and love yourself, it's very healthy. Now you on the other side, you have some people, all they do is love on everybody else, give to everybody else, do everything for everybody else, but they are afraid to love on themselves. So today I am talking about the healthy form of love, self-love. Okay, this is where you love people, but you love yourself also. You understand that you are your greatest asset. Okay, see, people, when it comes to money and people will always be your greatest asset over money. Always remember that. But you are your greatest asset. Okay, you are your greatest asset. Okay, and without you, how can you be able to give out to other individuals if you're not healthy, if you're not mentally balanced and spiritually sound, etc.? Okay, so today we're going to talk about love. I looked up the word love in the Blue Letter Bible as well as dictionary.com, and love, it gave some interesting definitions. I typically go to dictionary.com, but love in a dictionary means a feeling of warm, personal attachment and deep affection. Warm, personal attachment and deep affection. In the Blue Letter Bible, it says to welcome, to entertain, to be fond of, to love dearly. And I like all those definitions. Okay. So it's to feel a warm personal attachment. This is because you love yourself, all of you. You understand? It's not because I look like this, I love myself, or I sound like this, I love myself, or I'm accomplishing this, I love myself. No, I love myself because I am me. Okay, this is how God created me. I'm excited about it, and I love myself, and I have a warm personal attachment and a deep affection for myself. Now, I welcome my gifts. I entertain my gifts. I am fond of love myself dearly. I know some people may say, well, that's so selfish. It is not selfish. Less. I think it's very, okay, let's talk about it. If it's selfish, let me be selfish. How about that? If you consider it selfish, that I now have an awareness that I should love myself, then okay, yes, I am selfish. Next. Anything else? Okay. I'm reminded of a passage in Mark 12:31, when we are instructed to love our neighbors as ourselves. Watch this. Listen to this. This was, as I was meditating on this last night, and I was just like, okay, so if a person make a person feel guilty for loving themselves, so they're walking around with their head down, they're walking around and regret anytime they want to do something for themselves. So if you're treating yourself with disrespect, dishonor, and devaluing yourself, but yet the Bible says treat your neighbor like you treat yourself, then that's basically saying, because I devalue myself, let me devalue my neighbor. Because I disrespect myself, let me disrespect my neighbor. You get it? Because think about it. My neighbor, but I don't love myself. It's impossible. Even when we're doing things that, and it seemed like, oh man, they must really love that. It seemed like you call them, man, he's like this over there helping them. You know, whatever they ask for, they, you know. But yet we won't jump up and do that for ourselves. Think about it. When it comes to somebody calling, hey, can you do this? Can you pick this person up? Can you drop this off? Can you send me some money? Can you? And we jump. But when it comes to our visions, when it comes to our dreams, when it comes to our desires, when it comes to, right, what God is leading us to do, we put it on the back burner because we feel guilty if we put ourselves first. Now, I know often there's going to be some times that, you know, you put somebody else first because, you know, you choose to do that. Or the Lord leads you to do something. Okay? But there's absolutely nothing wrong with you saying, okay, it's my turn. It's my time. Because I'm going to take my calendar, and not only am I going to I'm not going to fill my entire calendar up with what you need, what you want, what you, and then when I look at the calendar, I have no time for me. And then I end my day frustrated, burned out, not fulfilled, overwhelmed, feeling like quitting. And it should not be like that. You should be able to help somebody, support somebody, give to somebody, and feel very fulfilled. You understand? Feel empowered, feel blessed, because you know how to balance that thing. Because even Jesus withdrew in the Bible. You understand? He is our example. So because you have a healthy awareness, you understand that, okay, I need a moment. I just been with, did about 5 appointments. I need a moment. And so you still away for 30 minutes, an hour. Maybe you go walk and you turn your phone on do not disturb and you go walk at the park. You turn your phone totally over. You just sit back and watch you something or listen to you something or read you something. You turn everything off just so you can just lay before God and just have your own moment in your own time. Some of us are frustrated because we want to spend more time with God, but we feel like we don't have time. It's like, God, I remember when I didn't have all this and I was able to just sit in your presence and just meditate in your word. And I just felt so connected. And so, God, right now, I just feel so disconnected. I just feel so lost. It just feels like my life is so chaotic. It's so overwhelming. Well, guess who has the power? You have the power. You have the power to say no, and you have the power to say yes. Who has the power? Somebody said me. I do. You have the power to say no, and you have the power to say yes without explanation. And yes, Miriam, we can't properly love others if we don't love ourselves first. Who has the power? When you are getting your e-calendar and putting whatever appointment in your calendar, for those who are still carrying the paper calendars, when you get your paper calendar and you write that appointment down, or if you're talking to Siri, hey Siri, oh, look, she's ready to talk. Okay. And when you're talking to your phone, telling your phone, hey, add this to my calendar. The question is, are you adding yourself to your calendar? You have your spouse in the calendar if you're married. You have your children in your calendar if you have children. You have your parents in your calendar if you do anything for them. You have your ministry in your calendar if you volunteered at the church, or maybe you are a pastor. You have your clients in your calendar if you're in business, or you have something to build or something to create, or you got to do marketing, right? You have your nonprofit in your calendar if you're doing philanthropic work. You have your job in your calendar if you have the obligation to go to work every day. You understand? You have the house in your calendar if you have to cook, clean, wash clothes, or anything like that. My question to you is, when are you going to add yourself to your calendar? That's a part of self-care. And this should be a daily occurrence. This should not be like, okay, once a week I'll block out Fridays and that'll be the day I spend time with myself. No, it should be every single day. I don't care if it's 30 minutes. You should grow accustomed to just laying back, doing you without guilt. Someone type in without guilt. Without guilt. Love yourself. Stop being so mean to yourself. Let me ask this question one more time. How can one truly and authentically love their neighbor if they have yet to love themselves? How can we truly and authentically and intentionally love our neighbor if we have yet to love ourselves? Right now, if you look at your calendar, are you in your calendar? A lot of times, and I used to feel this way, if I had free time, I used to feel guilty when I was like grinding. I'm talking about like running in business. If I had a break in my schedule, I felt guilty. I felt guilty. I would look at my calendar, and if I didn't have an appointment, if I didn't have back-to-back appointments, coaching calls, meetings to go to, ripping and running, if I didn't have something to do, if I had like an hour break and I had nothing filled in that little hour, I would feel guilty. Personal story, personal experience, I used to feel like, man, listen, a person, look, watch this warped way of thinking. If I wasn't running, I'm like, man, listen, you're not serious. If your calendar have to be packed. If you're not serious. And you have some people that still teach that foolishness. That's not kingdom. God did not teach us to toil and to labor. He taught us to work, and he will bless the works of our hands. But God also told us to rest. That's one of the reasons the Sabbath was created, so that everything could rest, although majority of us do not honor the Sabbath. So creating that rest is therapeutic. It rejuvenates, it revives, it gives you the opportunity to think. I'm just telling you, it gives you the opportunity to think. I remember my husband called me yesterday. He had called me like, I probably had taken a break. I probably was like maybe 15 or 20 minutes into my break. And then he just called to check on me yesterday. And I was just like, I was working on something and I had been on it for like hours and hours. And I told him, well, I'm just taking a moment, taking a break. I'm just kind of doing me, whatever I want to do. So we talked and I got on the phone with him and I kept on breaking. I kept on doing me. I kept on relaxing my brain. Okay. So love yourself, have fun, enjoy the journey, and in the process, love on yourself. Love on yourself. You understand? Like occasionally going to get you some massages. I know my husband and I, when we went on the cruise ship, he blessed me with the massage, and I can't say that wasn't even a relaxation, because for whatever reason I always get the deep massage. Okay, this time when I go next month to get a massage, we already got the schedule. I am not getting the deep, but I always get the deep massage, and I'll be feeling like someone have whooped me, like just straight beat me up after I leave there, because they are all in your, with their elbow all in your back, and but I get it to loosen my body up, but baby, it'd be torture. But anyway, so but you want to love on yourself. So in what ways can you love on yourself? I want you to take a moment and I want you to write down at least 3 to 5 ways that you can love on yourself. Get your journal. And I want you to write at least 3 to 5 ways that you can love on yourself today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. At least 3. You may use one of those ways today and another one of those ways tomorrow. But in what ways can you love on yourself? Does that look like just turning everything off? Like no TV, no music, no sounds. You just want your thoughts, and you want to be able to talk to the Holy Spirit, or just lay back and do absolutely nothing. That's one of the ways. You may say just having the ability to just stop moving is one way of loving on myself, because I'm always running. Another way you may say is, having you a monthly massage. You may say, once a month, I'm going to make an investment and I'm just going to pamper me. All right. Whether that's my body, my nails, my feet, having my scalp massage, whatever, I'm just going to pamper and love on me. Whether that's you just going to the movies. Before I got married, I used to love going to the movies by myself. I've heard some people say that they don't like to do that, but I've always loved spending time with myself once I got to that place. And so I've been doing it as long as I can remember. I call it Ucations. I used to take Ucations all the time. Okay. I would fly out of town, drive out of town, and spend a weekend all by myself. I'll take myself out to eat. I take myself to the movies. I did whatever I wanted to do, and I intentionally didn't take anyone with me. Okay, and so you taking a mini vacation, like I just said, a Ucation, where it's just you. I remember I flew to North Carolina. I wanted to visit Pastor Steve Furtick Church, so I flew up there on a Friday, stayed until Sunday, and I flew out. Rented me a car, got a room, and just take myself out to eat. And I just I I've been doing it for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So and it's so therapeutic. You know, it's so relaxing, it's so loving to yourself, you know. And then I want you to ask yourself this question. If you've ever loved anyone, ever been in love with anyone, how did you treat them and how did you respond to them? Did you move with urgency when they called and they had a need? Were you willing to put things to the side just for the sake of spending time with them? Were you able, I mean, did you feel the unction to just spend hours with them, talking on the phone or just in their presence? What, did you love them so much so that it brought joy to your heart just to bless them with a gift? This is everything I just mentioned that we do for others. I want us to do this for ourselves. We've neglected ourselves extremely too much. And that's why a lot of God's people are so burnt out and so overwhelmed. Because we have bought into this false narrative that we're doing something wrong if we take a moment for ourselves. And sometimes I do it here, even in the house. Jayla may be riding her skates because she loves to just ride her skates through the house. My husband may be sitting in the living room watching television after he relaxed and I fed the family and all of that. And I may just say, hey, baby, I'm going to the bedroom. I go to the bedroom, sit in the bed. I have my books. I may have my binder that I normally study in or something like this. Or if I want to turn on the television, oftentimes I don't. But if I do, I have the power to do that. But sometimes I will just steal away from the family, just so I can have some time with me. And or so I can have some time with God, undistracted. And they know what that means. And if Jayla needs anything, she'll just knock. And I say, yes, come in. Right? And typically when I sit still away, my husband, he don't, he's so laid back. he don't even, interrupt me. You understand? And so it's being able to have those moments with yourself. Even if you just say, you know what, some people love driving. They'll get in the car and just drive for an hour just so they can have that's their time. And some people walk at the park. Some people go to the gym and they work out. Or they work out in their house. That's their therapy. Or that's their time to themselves. And what way can you love yourself? Write 3 to 5 ways down. And then I want you to start planning it in your schedule. Add yourself to your calendar just like you add everyone else. If your child have a sporting event or a rehearsal or a practice, we put them in our calendar. And we have the volunteer at church, we put that in our calendar. We put everything in our calendar. But when you open up your calendar, is your name in that calendar? Or do you just wait and say, okay, I got 5 minutes, let me just take a break right now? To me personally, you deserve more respect than that. You deserve more respect than if I find a moment, I'll just take it for myself. No. Why am I not so important that I can't literally go in my calendar and you can put me time? Just put me time in there. And you may block out 1 hour to do whatever you want to do. You may block out 30 minutes to do whatever you want to do. Yet, Miriam, I used to do that all the time, sitting in the car before you go inside your house. Listen, girl, one time I did this was hot. I think this was in 2004 when I stayed in an apartment complex in Hoover. I literally parked outside my house. Wasn't nobody in there. So I could have gone inside the house. I sat in the car. I used to listen to personal development. I mean, in the car all the time. We call it drive time university. And so I was listening to some personal development, and I just sat in the car over an hour, just there, chilling, listening, studying, And so, yes, I agree with you. You understand? So I want you to really love on yourself. All right. Love on yourself. Michelle says she like driving and listening to the word of God. Amen. And so I want you to love on yourself, and I want you to be intentional about it. If the thoughts of guilt come to your mind, say, devil, you are a liar. I love me some me. Okay, God wants me to love on me, because the more I love on myself, it allows me to love on other people. All right. You learning how to love yourself is really a setup showing you how to love other people. You being patient with yourself. It is showing you how to be patient with other people. Okay? You taking time for yourself. It causes you not to be so much in a hurry when it comes to actually ministering to other people. You speaking love and positive words to yourself. It empowers you to do the same for others. Okay? And so it's just such a blessing. It really is. So I want you to do that for yourself. I had learned, because I'm telling you, I've spent years not doing it. Okay. I've spent years not doing it. And so I know how it feels to feel guilty. I know how it feels to be, burned out, because you're running and running and running and running. I know how it feels to be idle as well, where you're sitting there, you're doing nothing, and there's no purpose in your nothing. You're not trying to rest, because even in not doing something, maybe you're worried about something. So I want you to just be intentional. Okay. I want, just like you be so in a hurry to call somebody to talk on the phone to your bae, I want you to be in a hurry to love on yourself as well. All right. And so I just decree and declare that over you, that you have a deep revelation of rest. You have a deep revelation of peace. You have a deep revelation of self-care, that you have a deep revelation of selflessness. It is a very selfless act for you to say, you know what? I deserve this. Okay. And that you are intentional about blocking out time just for yourself. All right. And that God gives you the courage to say no. When listen, my calendar is full. And what that means is, I heard Priscilla Shower. I thought this was so powerful. Let me share this story with you all. If anybody know Priscilla Shower, powerful woman of God, intercessor. She played in the movie War Room, and a couple other movies. And so Overcomer, I think that was another movie that was really good. So I heard her, she was doing an interview. It was she and her husband doing this interview. I guess it's about a year old or whatever. And she was doing, you talking about priorities, just listening to her speak and just share, it just really, really, really blessed me. And I was just like, if we all had this awareness, you understand? So here's a young lady, she and her husband, who they're prominent, influential individuals in the ministry space, and I'm sure a lot of people are at her, invitations and inviting her here, and we'll pay you this much, and we'll give you this honorarium, and we want you to be in this movie, and all of this stuff. But I love her healthy balance. I love her ability not to be blinded or moved or influenced by money or fame. And one of the things she said, because her husband left his job to really basically work side by side with her in ministry. And so they made a commitment up front with, because they have children, they made a commitment up front that they would not allow their schedule to get in the way of their children's schedule. You understand? This is when you make up in your mind that I'm committed to my child's success. I want to show up for them. I want to be there for them, because I understand the day is going to come where they're going to be grown and out the house. So during this time with them, I want to be at their games, their practices, and all this stuff. especially when they have major things going on. And so she had shared that her husband, they had made this agreement, so they would turn down. She said, I thought this was good. She said, we turn down more invitations than we actually accept. She said, sometimes people look at me and they wonder, it seems like you're just so busy, because you're writing books and you're in movies and you're ministering. And it just seems like, how do you have time to do all this? And she said, what people don't understand is a lot of that stuff released around the same time, but it's not recorded or done, at the same time. And she said there are many invitations she's turned down. One of them, if anybody know the Hendrix brothers, these are the ones that produced the movie War Room and Facing the Giant and different movies like that. And they had a movie they had invited her to be an actress in. And because her children had some very important events coming on, she told them no. She said, Now, the average person would have put their children to the side, their spouse to the side, and they would have went after that baby. Okay. And she said, She said they turned it down. And then when the Hendrix brothers came back to invite her again about a year or so later to their next movie, and I hope I'm getting the time frame right, but when they did invite her to come back to the next movie, because they valued the importance of the standard that she set. Watch this. The standard that she set, they said, because you value family so much so, we want to see what do your children have going on? What does your family have going on? Because we want to fly you out to us, not just you, but your entire family. Okay? For the months that you're going to be here recording, but you let us know so we can know what days you're available, what days you're not available. And it's when you set a non-negotiable, listen, this right here is top priority, not money, not fame, not status, not all this other. This right here is a priority, and nothing will get in the way of this priority. Okay. And this is why she and her husband have been able to have a healthy relationship, a healthy balance with their children, because they did not allow money nor fame to step in a way of the commitment that they made. And this is us making a commitment to ourselves that I don't care what doors open. It doesn't matter how much money you're paying me. You understand? I am not going to burn myself out running after this stuff. You know why? Because I don't have to. I don't have to. I do not have to. You understand? And so when you come to that place right there, first of all, you'll start running after money anyway. You will walk in your purpose, and because you're walking in your purpose and you're obedient to the Spirit of God, money is inevitable. It will attract itself to you. Okay, but if you really study people, watch this. If you really study people, because I know a lot of times we look up to people who are famous and they got all this money and they're quote unquote living the life. But if you really study those who chased after money, just imagine the people who are making millions of dollars. If they really partner with God, He will 10x their efforts, and they will still have more peace and feel more fulfilled. But when you really study people, you'll really understand. You'll see, well, yeah, they're making $1 million a month. They're making, oh, wow. But they had to neglect this. They spent no time with their children. I mean, my husband I listened to one gentleman who he talked about his daddy and himself. You understand? And it was almost like a badge of honor that I only seen my child when I was kissing them on their forehead when I was walking out the door to go to work. And I would leave for weeks at a time, but I got to get this from my family. But your children, all they know you as is kiss me on my forehead, goodbye, daddy, or goodbye, mommy. But I got all this money. You're in a big house, but no memories at all. That's not kingdom at all. Your first ministry is your home. You understand? And do you mean to tell me that God cannot raise us up as kingdom multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires and we still have a relationship with our families? Huh? And I understand you work, sometimes you have to travel and all this, but it just should not be a normal situation. It should not be a badge of honor. It should not be. You understand? Because then what you do is now you're saying, because I'm running out here doing this, I'm going to allow somebody else to instill principles in my children. And then when your child grow up acting like the devil, then now you tripping. But you didn't put nothing in them. Okay. Anyway. So love yourself. I'm like, okay, God, I guess that was for at least one person over here. Because I'm like, that wasn't even the message today. But love yourself. Okay, love yourself. And let me come and close out with this right here. I believe when we get to the point where we can start telling people no, because we have put ourselves in our calendar, because I'm telling you, Satan gonna test you. You put yourself in your calendar and then all of a sudden this call come or this happen or this do this, whatever. And you say no, because watch this. If you were sitting down at an appointment, or if you had an appointment to meet this big time company or person or whatever, and somebody called you and wanted to schedule an appointment, you will say no, because you already have an appointment. I'll be double booked. But for whatever reason, when we put ourselves in our calendar, if somebody called us and they say, hey, listen, this, XY, this, we don't look and say, oh, no, I can't because I'm double book. I'll double book if I put you in my calendar. We'll just say, oh, well, shoot, let me. Uh-huh. No. Love yourself. Let's close out by type that in. Love myself. Love myself. Love myself. It's just healthy, man. Let me tell you something. I just don't listen, I done been there, stressed out, overwhelmed. I'm not going back there. I'm just not. I'm not going back there for the sake of $1. I'm not going back there for the sake of a relationship. I'm not going back there for the sake of a toy, material item. I'm not going back there for the sake of none of that foolishness, okay? Because I know that I can have it all and be at peace, okay? And that's because I am intentional about loving on me. And I know when to say no, and I know when to say yes. And that is just it. Yes. Ty said, Ty, love yourself, periods, with the T. Yes. Without guilt. Yes, Minister Karen. Without guilt. So I love you all. I appreciate you. If I said at least one thing that bless your spirit, resonated with you, I want you to click the like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. Click the notification button and make sure that you share this broadcast with at least 3 people that you know. If you're interested in connecting with our network, CCO Network, or you're interested in building your business, writing a book, just go to yakineamarie.com. I look forward to connecting with you. I'm excited about some things that we have going on. Oh, by the way, let me say this, ladies. I'm going to host a luncheon at the end of the month. Okay. I'm going to open up registration on a Monday. Of course, seating will be limited.